I've seen many 1 acre plus home buyers caught by surprise because of extra expenses they didn't expect. If you're not prepared and your agent's not prepared, there are some expenses when you purchase a home on an acre or more that will catch you by surprise. Let's take a few minutes and make sure that you're not. So a home buyer was very excited about the home they were purchasing on just over an acre. Very excited. That's the lifestyle they wanted, the privacy they wanted, the space they wanted to raise the kids. The kids and dogs had lots of room to run and play. But as they entered into the transaction, their agent had failed to tell them about the extra cost involved with the septic inspections. You see, in a typical home purchase, you do have a general home inspection, very common, and a termite inspection, very common. You also have those for a home on small acreage. But it's very common to have a septic in a home on small acreage, or on the property on a home on small acreage. However, the agent did not make the buyer aware that they needed to incur those costs. Now, septics can be very expensive, and it's really important that that inspection takes place so the buyer understands what they're getting into. However, the costs are not insubstantial. The cost of the septic inspection itself can be $450, $550, and some inspectors who inspect septic systems require that the tank be pumped. Well, that's another cost, another $450 or $500. So I've seen situations like this particular one. This family was very excited, who all of a sudden became very unexcited because they just weren't aware of the extra cost involved in the purchase of the home, and they just weren't prepared for it. So be aware that when you buy a home on an acre or more, there are extra costs involved. The septic inspection and the pumping are both costs that need to be taken into consideration. Inspections are usually not negotiable. Don't know any sellers that would pay for inspections for buyers to have when they're purchasing a home. I have seen the septic pumping be a negotiable item. I've seen the seller pay for it. I've seen the buyer pay for it. Every situation is different. However, those are costs that are involved in that purchase. Now here's another one. Some homes on an acre or more have wells. Wells, again, very expensive. Like a septic system, it's not a small amount of money. It's a bigger expense typically than anything on the house except possibly the roof. And it could be more expensive than that depending on the house. So having the well inspected is very important as well. There are several facets to a well inspection that need to be taken into consideration. One of those is inspecting the well and the pump itself, but also the water that's coming out of it. That water needs to be taken to a lab and tested. So the homeowner can do it themselves, or the inspector can do it. And the inspector charges for their time and effort to get that water to a lab. So in addition to the inspection itself of the well, there can be the cost for the lab, the tests, and the results. Again, more expenses that you need to be aware of if you're purchasing a home on an acre or more. And like the family who was so excited about their purchase and couldn't wait for the privacy and space of a home on an acre or more, and then became very disillusioned, it's best to be aware of all this up front. So in addition to the home inspection, termite inspection, which you're nearly always going to have, you will have a septic inspection. The septic may need to be pumped in order to inspect it. You'll have a well inspection, and you may have lab and test results from the water from the well inspection. So that's just a small summary. If you have questions, feel free to watch any of our other videos. It'll answer a lot more questions about owning a home on an acre or more. And if you're like most people, you'd like to know the statistics, what's going on in housing on an acre or more, what are the values? Take a look at this video. It gives you a great idea of what's going on in the 1 acre plus market. Because you know, homes on an acre or more perform differently than typical subdivision markets. Very differently sometimes. Anyway, I hope to see you on that video. Thanks so much.